This is us. Wet, cold, and half blind. Somewhere in the cloud forest of southeast Ecuador, steadily climbing higher into the Andes, until eventually we crested the pass into the Azuay province, and like magic, the rain relented and the clouds parted as we descended into the beautiful Santa Barbara River Valley. Before long, we arrived in the small Cañari town of Sigsig, just a short distance, but a world away from the tropical highlands, where we stopped to dry out, grab a drink, and have a look around.
Man, what a difference coming out of the mountains made, huh? As soon as we crossed the pass, it went from just socked in and rainy and cold to like blue skies and green valleys.
I don't know how you saw through that.
I couldn't see through that. I was flying blind for a long time.
Yep.
All sorts of good stuff in here.
After a quick tour of the central market, we departed the highway and rode the back roads through villages such as San Bartolomé, before making the final descent into the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Santa Ana de los Ríos de Cuenca, Ecuador's third most populous city and our home for the next week. Right in the heart of the historic center and mere steps away from Parque Calderón, in the shadow of the Cathedral of Immaculate Conception, one of the country's most iconic landmarks, and arguably one of South America's most beautiful churches.
Home sweet home.
I like it.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
This would be a rare layover in a major city, but Chad had fond memories of Cuenca and needed to seek medical attention for his foot, which had not improved. So we booked an Airbnb for a week and immediately set to the task of familiarizing ourselves with the city, meeting our new neighbors, and hitting the streets.
I don't know what's going on.
Where we wasted no time making our way to the central market to take in the sights and sounds of the city, not to mention stock the fridge with the freshest organic produce, grass-fed beef, artisanal cheeses, and cage-free eggs, or as they call it in this part of the world, food. Only without all the marketing hype, and a hell of a lot cheaper. And while we were anxious to hit the town and do a little exploring off the bike, there were regrettably a few things we had to cross off the to-do list first. Chief among them, a little TLC for both Chad and the Africa Twin, with our new GIVI lights, which we had been hauling around for the last month, taking priority. GIVI had generously stepped forward to address our evident need for accessory lighting, but Chad had not yet had the chance to adapt the mounting brackets for our Outback Motortech crash bars. Not to mention, he was keen to eliminate the need for an additional switch cluttering up the controls. So, was all this for the lights?
Yeah. I ripped the front cowling off, then I located the circuit for the high beam. So now I'll have the lights wired into the high beam switch. So I'm going to eliminate the switch relay and that inline glass fuse and all this redundant wiring. I'm going to put in like a knife, a mini knife fuse, the same place as the accessory plug. So.
And with that finally out of the way, Chad had no more excuses to avoid dealing with the fact that his right foot was all but useless. Allow me to recap for those of you just joining us. 2 weeks ago, Chad was given a prescription for Cipro to battle a nasty stomach bug. Within a couple days, his right foot went numb, and he was stricken with an affliction known as drop foot, which prevented him from lifting his foot. We had no way of knowing if this had something to do with the bug he had contracted, the Cipro, or the accident in Bolivia 3.5 months prior, in which he had broken that very foot. So he reached out to the Expats in Cuenca Facebook group and received more than a few recommendations for a doctor, which finds us here, with a totally random orthopedic surgeon specializing in traumatic injury. Just what the doctor ordered, so to speak.
So after performing just some physical assessments, the doctor is fairly convinced I have a lesion on my nerve, which has caused the partial paralysis of my right foot. And he prescribed me a couple different medications. One is an injectable. Rose is all too anxious to give me the injection, which makes me a bit nervous. Fun fact, $40 out of pocket for a complete examination from a specialist. He's an orthopedic traumatologist, I believe. $26 for the prescriptions. So, yeah, again, easy to see why there are a lot of expats here.
And with that out of the way, having crossed everything off the to-do list, which, as an added bonus, included using Chad's butt for a dartboard, we hit the town and the confectionery down the street to soak in a bit of nightlife. Before jumping on the bike for a day trip to the Ingapirca Archaeological Complex, about an hour's ride outside the city, through the beautiful and fertile fields of the Ecuadorian Sierra, the formal agricultural center of the Cañari people, who called this region home for some 1,000 years. A perfect day trip and excuse to break out my Indiana Jones hat. So we joined a group for a tour of Ecuador's most significant and well-preserved pre-Columbian ruins. The site was purportedly an important ceremonial and agricultural hub for centuries, until the expansion of the Inca Empire to the north, sometime in the late 15th century, which led to prolonged, bloody conflicts until eventually the Cañari were assimilated. While able to retain some of their cultural and religious traditions, the Inca nonetheless imposed the Quechua language and their administrative systems on the Cañari. Evidence of this assimilation is apparent in the blending of architectural styles and agricultural systems. Today, both the Inca rectangular structures of finely cut and fitted stones stand side by side the traditional circular Cañari structures. Many of the Cañari elite were integrated into the Inca political and social systems until sometime in the 1530s. Upon the arrival of the Spanish, the Cañari aligned themselves with the Spaniards in an attempt to overthrow the Inca and reclaim their territory, an alliance which found both the Inca and the Cañari on the business end of Spanish steel. After a tour of this unique archaeological complex, we jumped back on the bike and diced it up with a couple locals who undoubtedly knew all the shortcuts. Before a leisurely ride through the highlands back to Cuenca, stopping along the way, as you do, to admire the countryside and snap a few pictures. We did our best to take advantage of our remaining days in the city, walking along Rio Tomebamba, taking in street art, and of course, exploring the Pumapungo Museum, which not only boasts honest-to-goodness shrunken heads from the Amazon, but is built atop the ancient Inca city by the same name. The empire's second capital, fashioned on a hill overlooking modern-day Cuenca, with remnants of advanced aqueduct systems, pottery kilns, and a sacred garden, making this a truly unique museum in the heart of the city. Alas, our time in Cuenca had come to an end. A truly remarkable town, and one of Chad's favorite in all of South America.
I like to call this the paper shredder. Don't get stuck in there. That's why Rose is wearing her helmet. The elevator's not safe.
The next morning, fully refreshed and stocked with clean socks and underwear, we went about the task of folding, packing, and strapping our earthly possessions to our home on wheels. The plan over the next couple of days would take us back down the eastern Andes to the tropical highlands with a layover in Macas, before crossing through the heart of the incredible Paramo and cloud forests of Sangay National Park on our way to Riobamba. Certainly not the direct route, but most definitely the scenic one.
One, two.
They're an Ecuadorian band, aren't they?
Ecuadorian, yeah, the Pink Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
We rode northeast along the Transversal Austral Highway, doing our best to skirt the occasional landslide and dodge wayward potholes, all while taking the time to pull over and make new friends, or at least try.
Hi. You want to be friends? You want to be friends? Come here. Come on. Come on. No? Okay, I tried.
This section of Highway E40 snakes along Rio Paute, the southernmost border of Parque Nacional Sangay, and one of Ecuador's most important renewable energy sources, with the Mazar Hydroelectric Station and Paute Molino Power Plant. All tucked away in this otherwise unassuming canyon, home to a few scattered villages, small towns, and agricultural abundance. Not to mention countless waterfalls spilling from on high, and tunnels to nowhere, hiding behind blankets of thick vegetation along the side of the road.
Whoa! What was that?
Huh?
Let's test out the new lights. All right, let's try the new lights. What the hell? Whoa. The lights work good.
Tunnels which seem to serve no purpose whatsoever, except to stand as witness to yet another nameless waterfall, and give us another excuse to stop and marvel over the natural beauty of Ecuador.
That's cool. There's a waterfall right here too. Wow. How cool is this place?
And just to make sure we completely max out the ISO on the Insta360 and provide you with the grainiest footage possible, we gave it another go.
That's a wild tunnel, man.
Before scooting up the highway to the local mini market, situated next to another waterfall in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Today is shaping up to be one of those days, long on stops and short on miles, but you won't hear me complaining.
And this really is the road of 1,000 waterfalls.
There's been miles and miles.
I know. It's awesome. Say hi. Pretty cool, huh? Okay.
We proceeded along the eastern flanks of the Andes, back into the heart of the Ecuadorian cloud forest. As our tires rolled effortlessly over man's timeless struggle to tame nature, rolling past landslide after landslide, interrupted by the occasional breathtaking vista, our progress was inhibited more by Chad's insatiable urge to document the condition of the road than by the condition of the road itself.
Oh man, holy crap.
He's got a little slidey.
You hang out here for a while, I'll be back.
This was not, however, the ideal spot for a picnic, so we shuffled along after the obligatory pictures, until finally arriving at what could very well be the end of the road.
Oh my God. Holy crap. Whew. Holy crap. And there's a house right here too. Jeez. Good.
But if we've learned anything, it's going to take more than a mountain of rocks to stop the locals. And it's going to take more than the imminent threat of death to stop Chad from getting the shot.
All right, let's get out of here before we end up under one of these things. I would never stop here if it was raining.
Maybe next time I'll let him sit on the bike while I take the pictures. Having finally descended back into the high jungle, we jumped on Highway E45 on the banks of the Upano River, whose waters flow directly from the Andean highlands to the mighty Amazon. When, just a stone's throw from our destination, Chad caught a glimpse of something in the jungle and decided to investigate. Departing the highway and just down this lonely little road to one of the coolest suspension bridges I've seen in a long time. Spanning the mighty Upano here in the Amazon. A hell of a way to wrap up another amazing day here in Ecuador.